Hi guys, in this video, I'm going to build this animated Airpods Max Hero section in Framer from scratch. No coding and no skipped steps. By the end of this video, you'll have a fully responsive and smooth animated hero section. To make this tutorial easy to follow, I've already prepared all the project images, colors, and text used in this build. Link in the description. Let's jump straight into it. I'm starting with a blank canvas, so you understand how this works, not just copying effects. Open Framer and click on New Project. Let's rename our project first. This is the Figma document with all the text styles and colors that we will be using for this project. Select all the text styles and click on Actions. Click on Figma to HTML with Framer plugin. If you don't have it already, you can search for it and install it. Click Copy to the clipboard and paste on Framer. Now, let's add these text styles to our Framer project. Click on the heading 1 text. Then go to Text Styles. Add New Styles and select heading 1. Click on Edit. Then add breakpoint. This will help make our text scale down well across breakpoints. Now do the same for the remaining text styles. Once finished, delete them. And now, let's copy the colors. Go to Assets, Styles, Color, New Style. Click on the color picker and click the first color. Give it a name and click Create. Do the same for all the remaining colors. Now let's go to the canvas. I like to set my desktop width to 1440. Turn the desktop into an auto layout and change the gap to 0. Press F on your keyboard and draw a frame. Make the width to fill and the height to viewport. Click on the desktop and change the height to fit content. Let's rename this frame to Hero section. Change it into a stack. Set the direction to vertical. Leave all the other settings as they are. Remove the fill. Add padding of 80 pixels all around. Go down to Accessibility and select Section. Draw another frame and change the width to fill and height to fill. This will be our content wrapper. Let's rename the frame to Content Wrapper. Let's turn it into a stack. Leave all the other settings as they are for now. And remove the fill. Go down to Accessibility and set the tag to div. Select the Hero section. And let's add the first gradient. Go to Fill. Then Radial. Set the first color to Midnight 1 and the second color to Midnight 2. Nice. Now click on the content wrapper and type in the first heading. Select the text. Go to Text Styles and select Heading 1. Change the color to white. Paste in the second heading. Go to Text Styles and select Heading 2. Change the color to white. Paste in the description. Change the text style and color. Change the width of the description from fit to fill. Select the second heading and the description and wrap them into a stack. Change the width to fit. And then add a max width of 35% so the text looks great. Then change the width to fill. Let's rename the stack to Text 1. Duplicate the stack and change the text. Now let's make these color pickers of the design. Press F and draw a small frame. Lock the aspect ratio and make it 30 pixels. Rename it to Color and increase the radius until it becomes a circle. Let's rename the second text stack. Select all three and wrap them into a stack. Rename the stack Bottom Text or to anything you like. Change the direction to horizontal and the distribution to space between, and align them to the bottom. Click on the circle color and duplicate it 4 more times so we have a total of 5 color pickers. Wrap them in a stack and gap to 12. Select the first and change the color to Midnight 2. Proceed and change the others. Once finished, rename the stack to Color Picker. Renaming stacks is just for organizational purposes. Select the Content Wrapper stack and change the distribution to space between. Now, let's bring in our first image. Drag the image into the canvas. And change the image position type from relative to absolute. Let's adjust the image. Go to the Layers panel and make sure the image is inside the Content Wrapper stack. Also, let's increase the Z index of the image to 2 so that it is in front of all the other elements. Let's adjust the image again. There, perfect. Now let's change the entire hero section into a component. Right-click on the hero section and select Create Component. Now we are on the component canvas. Here we will prepare all the variants needed. We need to have all the elements needed on the primary variant first. Let's start by importing all the images. Select the image and duplicate it 4 more times for a total of 5 images. And rename the images. Select the pink image. Go to Fill and change the image. Do this for all the images. Once done, select all the images except the Midnight one. Go to Transform and select Scale. Reduce the scale from 1 to 0.3. Drag them to the right and middle. Click on Styles, Filter, then Blur. Increase the blur to 10. Reduce the opacity of the other image to 0, except the pink image. Now this is our first variant. Let's rename it to Midnight. Now let's create a new variant by clicking here. Rename the variant to Pink. For this variant, we need to scale down the Midnight image. Select it and go to Transform, Scale, and scale it to 0.3. Drag it to the left and middle and add the blur effect. Click on the pink image, get the scale back to 1. Remove the blur. Align it to the center and drag it up a little bit so that it does not cover the text below. Select the green image and turn the opacity back to 1. Nice. Now let's change the background color. Select the variant, go to Fill, and select the 2 pink colors. Variant 2 is done. Let's proceed to variant 3. For variant 3, select the Midnight image. Turn the opacity to 0. Select the pink image and scale it down to 0.3 and blur it to 10. Drag it to the left like so. Select the green image, set the blur to 0 and scale back to 1. Align it to the center and push it up like so. Select the blue image and set its opacity to 1. Select the entire variant, rename it, and change the colors. Boom, and that's variant 3. Now let's proceed on variant 4. Click New Variant. On this fourth variant, select the pink image and turn the opacity to 0. Select the green image. Scale it down to 0.3 and drag it to the left. Set the blur to 10. Now select the blue image. Scale it back to 1 and the blur to 0. Then align it to the center. Move it up a little bit. Rename the variant and change the colors. I forgot to show the start light image on the right. So select the image and turn the opacity to 1. And with that, our fourth variant is done. Now let's do the fifth and final variant. On this variant, click on the green image and turn its opacity to 0. Select the blue image. Scale it back down. Turn the blur back to 10. Select the starlight image. Scale it back to 1. And remove the blur. align it to the center and push it up. Rename the variant and change the colors. And now we have all the variants ready for animation. As you can see, when we preview it, nothing is animating, so let's add the animation interactions now. We will use the color pickers to trigger the interactions between variants. So select the first color picker, go to Interactions, and add new interactions. Make the first color picker to link to its own midnight variant. Go to the second one, Interactions, New Interactions, and make it link to the second pink variant. Do this to all the color pickers, each linking to the appropriate variant. As you can see, it does work, but the animations are not smooth. Let's go back and make the animation smooth. Select all the images on the first variant, then go to Styles, search for Transition, click on the transition and change the time to 1.5 seconds. Now, when we preview, the animations look smooth and professional. We need to highlight the color pickers on each variant, so when we click, it gives an illusion of a selection. So let's add that. On the first variant, select the first color picker, go to Border, click Add, set the width to 2 and the color to white. Proceed to the second variant, select the first color picker, go to Border and remove since we don't need it on this variant. Select the second color picker and add the border. We can copy the border settings by right-clicking and then copy. Now we will just paste the setting onto the other color pickers. No need to adjust each. Now, when we preview, we have the selection on each color picker. Now let's work on the page load animations. As you can see, there are no animations when the page loads, so let's add them to the first variant. Select Heading, go Effects, and select Text. Change the preset to Stagger and Per to Character. Click on Effect, then Spring, and change the time to 1.3 seconds. Now select the image. Go to Effect and click on Appear. Select the scale in preset, click on Effect. Reduce the scale to 0.3, just like all the other images. Adjust the X offset like this and the Y offset as such. Make sure it is on the middle far left. Click on Spring and change the time to 1.5 seconds. Now select the text One Stack. Go Effects, Appear. and select Slide from bottom. Click on Effects, then change the Y offset to 250. Click on Spring and change the time to 1 second. Let's add some effects to the color pickers too. Select them, go to Effects, then Appear, and select Slide in bottom too. Leave all these settings as they are and click on Spring. Change the time to 1.2 seconds and the delay to 0.2. This will make it appear a little bit after the text 1 animation. Let's do the same thing to text 2. Adjust the delay to 0.4. Now, let's preview. Beautiful. The hero section now animates nicely on load. You see this weird glitch on the midnight image when we click on it. This is caused by the appear effect when we are on the other variants. It's easy to fix this. We just need to remove the initial appear effect on all the other 4 variants. Go to the second variant and find the midnight image and remove the effect like this. Do the same on all the other variants. Now, let's preview it again. Beautiful. Everything now works fine. Now, let's create a simple navigation for our hero section. Draw a frame. Change the width to fill and height to 75 pixels. Change it into a stack by clicking on Layout. Leave the direction on horizontal and add 80 pixels of padding to the right and left. Drag in the Apple logo and reduce its size to fit well. Let's add some nav links. Select all the nav links and wrap them into a stack. Rename the stack to nav links. Leave the direction on horizontal and add a 24 pixel gap. Now, let's add some icons on the right side. Press I on your keyboard and select icons. Select phosphor and drag it to the far right of the nav bar. Change the color to white and change the icon to this heart shape. Wrap the icon into a stack and make the width to fit. Add a 12 pixel padding all around. And change the fill color to white. Increase the radius until it becomes a circle. Let's reduce the fill color opacity so we can see the icon. Rename the stack and duplicate it. Change the icon to this bag or whatever you like. Select the nav bar stack and create a component. Remove the fill and go back home. By doing this, we cannot see it. Select it and change the position type to absolute, and there we have it. Let's preview this now. Beautiful. Everything loads perfectly and all the variants works with smooth animations. For those who worry about responsiveness, I went ahead and did that, as you can see. This video is long enough, so I didn't include that part. But all you have to do is reduce the width and move things around the required breakpoint for each of the variants. You just need to spend a little more time on it. And there you have it, my friends. A beautiful animated hero section done in Framer from scratch. Thanks for watching. See you on the next one. Bye.